my wonderful guest, as always, Casper.
Oh, hey.
And we were just, having a discussion about
It got kind
some
of
other.
heated. It got.
I did, yeah,
We
yeah,
almost
because
forgot to press record.
we're just discussing some other thoughts that some other content creators were having, and whether like they're valid criticisms. Um, some people are saying that or what is like not skelly mages, right? But
Well,
just skeletons in
let's start from the
general.
beginning. Hold on, let's start from the beginning because I gotta give out this disclaimer before anyone starts listening to this. We are not gonna do a complete run through of the entire. If you want that, there's plenty of people on YouTube that has an hour or two that's going to go into every little bit of the patch notes. This is more going to be a very gloss over into things that are kind of important to us and we feel that are going to be important to the overall quality of life of Path. Okay, so just put that disclaimer out there. But what you were saying, Coffee?
So some content creators are saying that. Did you say skeletal mages or just skeletons?
So two things, right? I run a lot of necros. So one of the guys that I follow a lot is Gazzy TV. So he's a big proponent of like minion builds. So two things that he pointed out that really shined out to me is one, two items or two things that affected Skelly mages specifically. One positive thing that they added, and one thing that made completely no sense. So I'll start with the first one, which was they nerf one of the amalgus. I'm gonna butcher this because I can't say that word, but support gems of greater projectiles, which gives originally gave 60% chance for projectiles to return. Whenever you link that to the skellies and they did their thing, the projectiles will go and then come back at a 60% rate. They changed that now to 10%. So now that pretty much is useless. And it is his opinion that that cuts that pretty much destroys your DPS on a Skelly Mage.
I suppose.
I never
I suppose.
ran Skelly Mages, so I don't know.
I suppose he has a point. Now that I think about it, right? He does have a point because I think that might have been the barrier between that I was having in between like late game mapping and really late game mapping. Um, I did for a lot of situations. I just didn't have the DPS. So I suppose if I had figured out that tech before and was able to like get that might have been able to push me into like uber bosses or maybe even just normal bosses. But I don't know about like killing it. Like I don't know, dude. Like I did tier 15 maps and I didn't have that shit, and I looked
So
back at my gear and it was trash.
a correction. It's not. It's even though I'm reading it, I can't pronounce it. Anomalous. Anomalous.
Anomalous,
Anomalous. Wow.
yes, anomalous.
Anomalous faster projectile support.
I didn't actually. Funny enough, I didn't know that anomalous faster projectile support had a return feature on it.
Yeah.
That's actually really interesting.
So whenever you would quality it up, it give you up to 60% return of projectiles.
You see, I think this would be a null point if GGG would just literally put the tag on the gem that projectiles fired return, because they introduced they let loose on some of the gems that they're going to be having in the next league,
Yeah.
and one of these is a return
And
projectile.
I think that's why they're doing it. They're taking it away from other gems and making that gem the one that does the return.
Right, which makes sense, and I'm cool with it. But the way it's worded is kind of, I understand where he's getting his reservations about it. Give me one moment while I look for it
Hmm.
and actually
In the
find the word.
meantime, Veil Summon Skeletons now has more skelly mages that spawn with it.
That is, dude, that is actually badass. I'm so cool with that. Okay,
Yeah.
so stupid me. The gem is called just returning projectiles. Supports projectile skills. Projectiles from supported skills return to you. That is I
That may
understand.
work with Skellies. That may work with Skelly mages.
I don't think it will. Now
That's what I'm
that I like,
saying. It might
now
be
that
like a spell or like a projectile, not a minion.
it's because it's a project. It supports projectile skills. From what I
So they would have to
understand,
add a tag
they would have to
projectiles.
add the tags projectiles. But the thing
Mm.
is it's not as simple as that because Skelly Mages isn't done through a
Does with
uh
a keystone.
yeah, well, no, a gem like or a jewel.
Right.
Them
Oh wait,
right.
what's the Drew? Reckoning. Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning, yes.
Wow, I'm
Um
mad. I remember that.
that jewel is what transforms your normal skeletons into skeletal mages, which means you wouldn't get the tag from the support gem because the skeleton or summon skeletons does not have a projectile tag on it to begin with. But maybe it changes when you have the jewel in. Like I hope that
Right.
that GGG realizes this before because you're telling me that Gazzy TV is
He
has
called. He
brought this.
talked to them.
Oh,
He
good.
he he
I
claimed.
hope.
This is his claim. He claimed like when he saw the Passion House, the first thing he did is he contacted Chris Wilson. That's some bolo ass shit, by the way.
Yeah, that when you're that influential, or you can just
Yeah,
like,
he
hey,
said
yo,
that he had this
crazy.
conversation with them prior to 2 or 3 years ago with Chris. And he agreed. And Chris promised him that he was going to start doing this in the patch notes. And then when he saw the patch notes, he didn't see it. And once again, he reached out to Chris. The response that they gave him from management was that they're going to do it. They're just going to do it a few days before. They're going to do a separate, not a patch notes, but a separate explanation of how these things are going to work.
Okay,
Um,
so that kind of
and
gives
and this
me
is specific to. I'm getting off a little off topic here. This is specific to the new minions. There's two
okay.
new minions being released, and there is
Ooh,
no numbers associated with those minions, like nothing.
ooh,
So it's
I'm
not easy
excited.
to build so it's no way to make content and no way to theorize because it's just like all they
It's
do
a
is just give the name of it and
right.
a
It's
brief
like
explanation on what they do.
it's like when Summon Reaper came out.
Right.
Like we were all wondering, like, what is this gonna do? How is it gonna function? How much
So
stronger is it gonna get from consuming something? Because all they were just like, this is a Reaper that follows you around, consumes random like one of your random minions for a damage buff, and it's just
right.
like, it's not enough information.
So the other the I guess the fucked up change that they made, no other way to say it, is that they apparently nuked. I think they nuked it. This is a soft nerf. Gazzy thinks is a really bad nerf.
So where is?
Um,
Hold up. I want to find this. I want to find where
Alberans were all path. It's mm, shit. Was
unique balance,
unique
item
boots.
balance.
Yeah.
No. I'm
Oh
looking
yeah,
for it in
unique
the map.
balance. Yeah, it's the only thing there. It's the only thing there. So
Item.
they what they
Oh, wow. What?
yeah. So
Okay, I might feel a little targeted if it was the only. Okay, all right. I feel okay. Okay, I think I understand
it's
where it's
the
coming
only change they made to the unique and the patch notes. This is the granddaddy, the patch notes, and you're not gonna see this much level of details. So in Albert's Warpath now, it allows you to now summon only one skeleton warrior. At default, you can summon two. If you level it up and you with some changes, you could do up to three.
Oh, well, I see why this never affected me because I didn't give a fuck about Alberans in the first place. It's in the it. Okay, so the funny thing is about Path of Exile is when it
It's a lot of shit.
when it has specific wording, it means it's wording. Generally speaking, there's been some anomalies in the past, but generally speaking, the wording really matters.
Yeah.
The thing is summon skeletons cannot summon more than one skeletal warrior. Wouldn't have mattered for fucking skeleton mages anyway because they're not skeleton warriors.
All
Which
right.
is why
That
I
and
use
that's
friends ever
it's
anyway.
it's it's important to note that this is the new modifier that it has now. So skeleton mages come from the skill gem skeletal warriors. So depending on how this interacts with
It comes from summoned skeletons.
summon skeletons, so it's unknown right now what it would do. But at the surface, the main argument that Gazi was saying is that Alburn's Warpath is typically a starter unique for most budget builds. You do not use Warburn's Warpath unless you're really having a hard time replacing your boots at tier 16 juiced maps. You're not. You find a replacement. You don't need a Alburn's Warpath at its basics does not provide enough cover to be doing juiced maps at tier 16.
Hold on, right, like literally right below this, I see something that's really interesting. The Crucible passive skill that caused totems to explode on death, dealing percentage damage of their life as
Got nuked.
has had its values divided by 20.
Yeah, I was gonna go to that one. I had it on my list.
Effects existing. That is the most insane shit I've ever seen.
That's that Auburn strike, bro.
Yeah. That's a rod from God if I ever saw one. Holy shit. Well, there goes my totem build. And you know, it's funny. This affects existing items. That means when I log on, my totem build might actually just not work anymore.
Yep.
That
I mean, we knew this was coming. Come on, we knew this was coming.
I knew it, but I kind of expected them to wait until like the actual time they deactivate the game. Now I have no way of playing.
Divided by 20. They've calculated that shit too. Like, hold up.
Oh fuck, dude. That's.
But yeah. Right, but anyway, so that's the argument that those are the big changes, at least for minion builds. And I'm a big minion build person. That's why I wanted to highlight those. You were saying something about melee before we started recording.
Yes. So you were saying that you didn't feel, or a lot of the content creators that you watched from the few videos that you did watch were saying that they didn't feel like they were getting very much melee love.
And yeah, like there's no, and this is in reflects to big meta change-ups that we are accustomed to seeing sometimes, where they make something a specific build or part of it, like back when Impale came out,
right?
Like Impale building melee Impale builds were fucking legit because
but the thing is okay, so now here's where something interesting. You have something that they're literally introducing called trauma. Support strike.
Nah, dude. Trauma. Nah, dude. I can't agree with you.
Nah, the first time that you hit an attack on an enemy, supported attacks deal physical damage per trauma. This is literally help for bosses. Like it's almost the same thing as Impale, but Impale required you to hit really hard.
Yeah, but the problem with trauma is that you fucking hit yourself after.
I don't see that.
It does. They showed it on the trailer. Every time you hit, you get stacks too.
You hit yourself, causing you to gain trauma the first time a supported attack hits any trauma. So wait, yo.
So you have to. Your melee character has to have a way to mitigate physical damage. If you can find a way to mitigate physical damage, like high armor,
right? But it's gonna do it anyway. You see, this is why I don't think this is really like a.
But you see, here's the thing. Here's my argument. This is where I always get mad. Why does everything with buffing melees have to deal with like a double-edged blade? Why can't it just be like trauma? Okay, boom. Here's a new stat. Go ham with it. Like, they don't do that shit with projectile. Look at the projectile. The things come back. How about there's a % chance of you see trauma from the projectiles returning back to you? You don't ever see that with projectile and casting spells.
It would be the same thing, though. But wait. What do you mean? I was literally talking to you about making a cast on crit where my projectiles are going to return to me anyway. And then
no. I meant so they release a support gem that's supposed to help the damage of melees, right? Trauma, right? Mm-hmm. But did they want to add this a fucking line on it that also hurts you, like a double-edged blade kind of thing, where
Oh,
they
well,
don't ever
to
do that
be,
with projectiles, or they don't ever do that with cast spells. Where if
I
you
want to
cast a
let you know.
spell, you can die.
I want you to know that this is not a nerf.
The trauma?
Right.
No, I didn't say it's a nerf.
No.
I
Not
said it's
not
a
what I mean.
double-edged blade.
No, it's not. It's really not. You're looking at this from like a very narrow cone, right? The fact I'm looking at this and I see very, very easy forbidden right procs, which makes looping like really easy. And if you can loop as a melee character and then spin and then dude, this is not a nerf. This is not a like I don't see
Well, they
this as a
haven't released. The thing about it is they haven't released any of the numbers, so
right. But the thing is
we have to wait for that to come out to see what is the actual percentages of damage, and can you
dude,
sustain it?
5% like would be fine. 50% would be okay. Like I'm telling you, like
Well, it's
once you
per
get
stack, so it stacks
right,
like
right,
when you
right,
hit.
right, right. So that's what I mean. If it goes up to 50%, that's fine. Like the thing is like with especially like when you start thinking about this is like with recoup. Like and then the fact that you can amp your recoup.
You're gonna have one of those like accordion health bars, just going
Well,
up and
the
down.
thing is, you would, but I'm pretty sure with the way that you can get leech working nowadays, I'm pretty sure you will just be topped constantly. Like,
Right under trauma,
uh huh.
read that one.
Volatility supports attacks skills, causing them to deal more maximum attack damage but less minimum attack damage.
Perfect crit damage.
Wait, hold on. Causing them to deal more maximum attack damage but less. Wow. Yo, dude, I don't see why you like this is a little I see this as melee love.
I no, it there is
Well,
melee love. It just it always
and then the
feels like a
fact
little. I feel like there's a developer somewhere be like, I don't want to get too much love. Like,
dude,
like
the thing is like I'm seeing me as a very basic late game player, right? So out of the late game players that we know of, like, fucking Scissor and fucking Mathel, all these people who are just like crazy fucking good at this game and have dedicated this, like I see potential in this. I don't understand why other people aren't. Like maybe for like and again, even when you start thinking like uber late game, I can think of items and things I can do to start amping this ridiculously. Like I
the
I don't
interesting
know.
gem that we have to figure out for ourselves in this league is can and should we use Spellblade?
I don't know if we should, but I've been spying. Okay, I'm not gonna bullshit with you. I've been looking at this wonderful fucking little support gem that I'm looking at called Sadism. Supports
Sadism.
Yeah, supports any skill that hits enemies, causing damaging ailments inflicted by them to deal damage faster, but causes the inflicted ailments to have less duration. Uh,
Does anyone?
yeah, it's in added new. Yeah,
Hmm.
it. Dude. I see a lot of potential. If you add this, wait, does Forbidden Right proc that? No, it wouldn't. Nor would Contagion. What would I have to use? Is it? Reap? Reap has a damage over time effect, right?
Any kind of poison. It would work with poison too.
It would work with poison, bleed, and then so this is the other thing I've noticed. I'm pretty sure GGG has been sneak buffing bleed a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too.
And like especially like and it's one of those things I think it's flying under the radar. Because dude, bleed has
Does still bleed work based on movement speed?
I think it does.
Like for animals and for like bosses
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit.
Yeah. It'll amp.
I think that's
Wait. That might be yeah, that's bleed.
I feel like
And
that's one of the
now,
downfalls I remember from Bleed. It was like most bosses don't move that much. So it's kind of like you just kind of sit there like, fuck, just move, just move a little bit.
uh, well, I don't see that as helping necessarily for bosses, other than the fact that you can pair that with the sadist and make it happen faster. But the reason I'm thinking about it is like if you're playing like a cyclone character that's like big on
Yeah,
bleed, you running through the map, and then as they chase you, they just die. Like I see this as pretty good. And again, this is one of those things where differences of opinion really have to be looked at through the framework of who's playing it, because for someone that's like
I think
for
it's
instance,
also I think important thing to say too is like overall purpose. Like how far can you take this build? Can it kill Uber bosses?
but that's not everybody's goal.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Some
like what?
people but
How
some
far are you
people
planning
want
on
to
taking the build? Is
right,
the
but
key
some
point.
people just want to melt late game maps. You know, some people want a map clearing character that you go into any fucking map, you run through, and for that, like, dude, melee characters are pretty fucking solid at that.
So
Granted, like, it's not one of those things where, like, if you're in like budget gear, you're gonna be running through maps, like, but that's with a lot of characters. I made a lot of
right.
mages arrow builds that until you start like really digging in, your map clearing at tier 16 maps is sketchy at best.
I find it weird that I feel like I'm jumping around, but I can't help it. I'm reading the Dex support gen by returning projectiles. They have no percentages on that. They have nothing. It just says support gems,
Yes.
projectile skills, projectiles from supported skills return to you. But they don't have like what if you quality up. What does it do?
Well, maybe that's like, well, my guess would be like faster projectiles.
Mm, okay. I feel like it's like missing information in some of these things.
Well, I just don't think it's like all the information. You know what I mean?
I yeah, obviously. But what's the point of the patch notes if you're not gonna add the information?
So you know what? I might use Spellblade, bro.
I like Spellblade, bro, but I do because it says if you use two weapons are equipped, each contributes 60% as much added damage and cannot modify the skill of minions. But it cannot
Right.
modify the skill of minions. But
Right. Which means 2/3 of my build is gonna be gimped.
support spells that hit enemies, causing them to have added spell damage. Nope, nope, nope. We can't use this. Nope, nope, nope.
What?
It's fucking casting spells. It's a melee weapon.
Yeah.
No,
That's what
no,
casting.
that's not a melee.
Wait. Now how?
No, no,
Wait. Are you fucking serious?
no. You gotta hit with the. You gotta fucking
It's a
melee.
support.
No,
It's a support.
no.
Support spells that hits enemies. The cast
This
is gonna be
allows
active
you. This
cycle.
allows you basically to gimp it in a sense of like you're no longer a melee character. You're just from the back, like swinging your sword, throwing shit at people.
No, that is not what this is saying. You're misunderstanding. Causing them to have added spell damage equal to the percentage of damage of the equipped one-handed melee weapons. You
I gotta see
understand?
it. Yeah, I gotta see it.
No,
Because the
yeah, you're
video I saw, the guy is throwing lightning bolts with his sword.
Nah,
Hold
that's
on,
some that
Spellblade support. Hold on, I saw it in the trailer.
I don't know, man. Support spells that hit enemy, causing them to have added spell damage equal to the percent. I don't understand. If I use this with Cyclone, what would be the difference? Like, because this isn't. Yeah, I don't.
Where's the? I'm trying to pull up the trailer.
Actually, I don't think I could use this anyway because it only supports spells that hit enemies. So wait, no, yeah, this is fine. I don't understand what your issue is with this. It so okay. So I'm gonna explain to you the mechanics of what will be happening here. Cyclone will be critting, and cast on crit will be casting a spell from that
All right,
crit.
if it doesn't
This
change,
spell,
you hitting hitting
no,
a motherfucker in the head
this
with a
adds
sword.
this adds damage to the thing that happens because I hit with my sword. So say I go cast on crit frost spear. The frost spears will have added damage from my weapon. That's all. It's only a damage modifier. This isn't a functionality modifier.
Can't find a trailer.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, like, this is based on what this is. This reads. This is not a functionality modifier. This is merely a damage adder that adds damage based on the weapon that you have equipped to a spell.
I mean, if
So
that's the
it,
case, that's fine. I'm fine
yeah,
with adding more damage to your melee. I'm
yeah,
fine
yeah.
as long as you not just start like doing some nutty shit of just throwing
Oh
projectiles.
no, you already told me that I can't play the thing where the dude throws the light weapons. So I don't. I would assume, yeah. I'm not. Yeah, yeah, I'm not trying to circumvent anything. This just works. This is one of those things where it's just gonna make my build better. Like, and as shit starts fucking casting from my fucking crits, like this is gonna be huge, especially if I go with a fucking two-hander. This is gonna be huge. Yeah, I like that. That's gonna be sick.
For some reason, I cannot find that in the trailer. I cannot find the quick demo that I saw in the trailer. I
Support
wonder if I
spell
saw it in the Oh, you know where I saw it in the ExileCon.
causing them to have added spell damage equal to the percentage of damage of one-handed melee weapons. If two weapons are equipped, oh, so I can't two-hand this, but each contributes 60% as much added damage. That's all it does. Yeah, it's only like unless they just didn't fucking put in what it does. Like, but from what I'm seeing, like it shouldn't. It's yeah. This isn't like throw a thing. This is
A thing.
merely yeah. Like it's just a support. It's a support gem that adds some stuff. And then returning projectiles, obviously. Locust Mine. I think there's huge potential in Locust Mine for people who want to play like Lightning Arrow.
I can see that. Yeah.
Like that would be really, really sick. But wait, dude. Oh my
Mm.
god. This I think this will work for fucking Frozen Legion.
The kill. Okay, so I didn't understand it
Oh,
because I've never
oh,
done this,
right. Mm-hmm.
but they dramatically changed. And I'm gonna butcher this because I've never done this. The 5-way leveling
The 5-way carries? Okay.
of the timeless thingy thing.
Yeah. Let me look.
They changed something dramatically. It's still viable, but you're gonna be doing. You're gonna get about 50% less XP.
Wait, timeless emblems and unrelenting noble. Okay, that's fine. Additional area levels are now added based on the number of emblems used, right? So, each relenting has an area increase by 0.5, meaning 5 emblems is level 84. The 20% increased experience gain for each time has been removed. Unrelenting Timeless Gem now adds 10% in experience gain previously from 20. And this is now saved on the tooltip. Each time's emblem now adds 15% more monster life, previously 10, and is now 10% more monster damage. That's not as much of a change as I was thinking. That's only a 10% experience gain nerf, which over the course of buying your 5-ways, if you're going to be doing that, is
So it's gonna basically it's gonna take more 5-ways to get
like
to your
one
original
or two.
point.
Right, but one or two. Not
Um,
if your goal is level 100, maybe like 5. But like that's if you're going because it's now a minimum of level 80. So I'm talking about from like 80. So from 80 to 100, you may lose like 5. What's it called? Which is like 3 divine.
right.
And it's gonna take an like is if your if this 15% more life means that your carries can no longer one shot shit, then it's gonna
Well, you
add
can't
time.
AFK as much. I think that was the
Well,
point that
no,
was made.
I don't think that's nearly as true. You're gonna have to have slightly higher requirements to AFK, but you'll still be able to AFK. Because 10% more monster damage, that ain't fucking shit. I hate I'm not trying to be like mean about it, but like being real based on like stuff that we see in the game, 10% ain't shit. That's
And to note, this is for like super niche people who are on their like their fifth build.
right. Well, I've used it sometimes when you're at like 96. You don't really fucking feel like dying in 4 times in a map and losing 2 weeks of progress. So you just go get a 5-way carry for like 12 divine, and then just get yourself up to like.
By the way, that's a baller ass move.
Oh, to just pay someone to fucking level you
12
up?
divines to level up 4 levels. That's a
Yeah,
baller ass move. Like
because it's like
that, you
3
you
divine.
sir are in the 1% of PoE players that can afford some shit like that.
I appreciate that. That's
It's like,
minor
yeah, I'll
pride.
just fucking do that.
That,
What? This is fucking smart idea. Just pay 12 divines. Just get 4 levels. Yeah,
dude,
sure.
because
Why not?
it really does help though. Because instead of going from 96 to 100, if you're like giga farming and you're doing really well, will take you like 2 days. For 5 ways, you get that shit done in an hour and a half. Like it's
I mean, if you're
so
paying 12 divines, that shit better fucking.
yeah, it's fast. It's so fast. It's such a especially like if you go in at level 80, the first 2 or 3 runs, you're walking out level 88. Like it's as it gets later on and the grind of experience gets like way higher and shit. Like
Mm,
that starts like really adding up and being like, okay, well now you need like three runs to get like 12%.
right.
Like that's when shit starts getting like ridiculous and you're just like, oh, now I just need to bust the last like 4 divines here, like just to have these runs.
So you play Ruthless.
I've played it, yes. I
Okay.
don't play it. Like it's
I
not.
don't know if you noticed when you're reading this, but I
I've skipped
heard
it.
it interesting. I heard it interesting fact that if you don't do it right now, but if you just search for Ruthless, it is mentioned more than 200 times in this patch notes.
I want to do it now.
Yeah, do it now. And if you zoom out, they mention it like a motherfucker. And a lot of people made this a point to talk about. I didn't believe it at first. I read through it. I've never played Ruthless, not interested again. I think the game is hard enough as it is. I get it if you're not in those 1%, 5% people who kill pinnacle bosses every league. Congratulations.
So I'm not as worried about this as some people would be, I guess.
Some people are butthurt. Some people like, why would you?
Nah, because this is what I see, right? So they have Ruthless specific changes, right? Before this point, Ruthless was mentioned 2 times, in which the other one was skill balance, where it's like Ruthless supports are now causing Ruthless stuff. But that's something different. That is an actual skill gem that does a different thing from the actual Ruthless specific changes. It's mentioned what like 5 or 6 times before, I guess. Now that I look, because they're mentioned like way high, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking those are also like
Some
uh
people are just on the
some of them are coming from the table of contents, and some of them are talking about the gem. And then you have Ruthless mentioned, the 200 times. Oh my god! But I don't know if anybody's actually looked at
well,
where it's located. It's all located in the Ruthless changes. Of
well, that
course,
is
it's going to be.
fine. But if you take out the Ruthless changes, right?
Uh huh.
You come to the realization that this is a small ass fucking patch notes
Let's see. What is
for
below?
a new content league. It's a small ass patch notes if you take out Ruthless specific changes. All of the ascendancy classes basically only got changed for Ruthless specific.
Nah, I don't think that's so true either, because we have 2 new ascendant. We have multiple new ascendancies coming.
Well, they made all of the Ruthless specific changes for all of their classes.
No, because here, look at
According
so
to the
no
according to
longer.
the
Oh, wait. So
table of
this is the other
contents.
thing, right? But this is a lot of stuff saying there's no longer far shot in Ruthless. Okay, so yeah, so that's going that way. Ruthless specific changes, other Ruthless. So it's probably from there to there, and then it's telling you ascendancy changes. Let's see. The Eternal Labyrinth.
Every line has Ruthless in it.
So I understand because you have, for instance, let's just read fucking Bastion of Hope. Now provides if you've attacked recently, you and nearby allies have a 15% chance to block attack damage, and if you've cast a spell recently, you and nearby allies have 15% chance to block spell damage. In Ruthless, both are 25%. Both are 25% in non-Ruthless. Like, I this isn't Ruthless only changes. This is changes to the general thing that do a separate thing for Ruthless. I don't understand the outrage. Why? Like, wait, I don't get it. Of course, the changes that you have in the game are going to affect the other difficulty mode in their own way. And they have to tell you of those changes because what did we want as players? Communication, right?
Hey
Like,
man, I I didn't read
I
all
don't
this. I didn't read all this. I did
I'm a
not.
very quick reader, and I'm looking through this, and I'm wondering how many of these people didn't read these because you have stuff that is referencing in Ruthless only. You have other stuff that's mentioning there is this coming to it, or this is being removed from Ruthless only. This is happening in non-Ruthless, like because if you do search Ruthless, you know what doesn't pop up? Non.
So
So all the
let's
time
put
that they're mentioning
non
right non-ruthless.
non dash 60 times.
So now from the 202, you remove 60, right? So that brings you to 142. And then you remove the ones from the top, that brings you down to like 135. Okay, fine. But now you look at how many ascendancy changes that they made in general, and that near all of
That's a
them
good point.
have. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like anybody actually critically looked at this.
I saw it very quickly in the video. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
It is
Scissorin
interesting, but
did point to know is like he said something along the lines of like it's not that big a deal. Like it's his the biggest thing that he acknowledged was like this Rufus was supposed to be a pet
side
project,
project.
a side
Yeah,
project, but that they're putting a lot of attention to it,
right.
and
But
he doesn't specifically like Ruthless, and he's coming from his point of view of like someone who doesn't really like Ruthless, doesn't care for Ruthless, you know. But he sees it as like it's not that big a deal. Like it's they gotta make the adjustments. It's not and how they're gonna make adjustment? How they're gonna tell people about it other than put it in the patch notes. So he don't see it as a big deal. I just saw it as an interesting fact of like how much of a chunk that they dedicated to the patch notes of a new
well, the
league.
thing is it's not really that much of a chunk, bro. It's literally understanding that when you change an ascendancy and like say they didn't call it ruthless, right? You had normal mode and hard mode, and they were like, we added a thing to normal mode, but in hard mode this doesn't exist that way. Like I don't see this as a big deal. It's one of those things where like if you ever heard how some people are like, dude, don't listen to statistics because they'll lie to you, this is the one of those moments where it's like the statistics of what you're talking. Like if we do this right, if I wanted to compare this in an actual like legitimate way that meant something, I would have to look at how many of these things are mentioning ruthless without mentioning anything for the base game.
Mm.
That would take a fair amount of research, being that it is mentioned 200 times. But then once you get through that and you think about like the overlapping, right? So when we looked up non-ruthless, you said there were 60 something.
60, yeah.
So now if you double that, because if it's mentioned in non-ruthless, it is to it stands to reason that it mentions ruthless in it as well. So that's 120 of these that we can get rid of off the bat. And then you look at the fact that there's only 60 remaining, and those are probably telling you something like this one that I just read. This does not give you elusive in Ruthless. Mistwalker no longer provides 50% increase effect in Ruthless, but that is something that is available in the base game. So then you have to remove all of those examples, and at a point you just get to like wow. it trips me out. I don't know whether to contribute this to like, just people not really critically looking at it, or like maliciousness. Like, why are you trying to drum up drama on something that literally means nothing?
Well, you heard it. You heard it here first. Motherfuckers is stupid. uh,
I don't like it when people try to use statistics to lie, man. Like, it's silly. It's that is cherry picking at its best. Holy crap! But
but you know
going
what's
back,
funny? You know what's funny? Which that I'm looking at the table of contents. So they have a section called ascendancy balances, and then they have ruthless specific changes, and they have ascendancy changes, and
I believe all of those are just in the same fucking chunk.
I wonder if your theory holds true. If it's the case that for the things that says not in non-ruthless, if it's things that are just not changing, this is not changing in. This is how it is in currently in regular. I almost said vanilla.
Vanilla.
This is how it is in regular league. It's 5%, for example, or 25% or whatever.
Well, I'll read you one of them, right? So, Sanctuary of Thought provides 25% increase to manage reservations efficiency of skills, or 1% increased area of effect per 50% unreserved mana up to 100%. In Ruthless, it now provides 25% less mana cost of skills, 50% in non-ruthless. You see, that's like not the whole thing, but it's one piece, right? So it's telling you that it does something in Ruthless, and in non-Ruthless, it's a different number.
So maybe it's how they laid out the table of contents.
Right. I think it might be, yeah, exactly. It might be a flaw of how it's laid out in the table of contents, because it makes it look like they're all separate. It is not.
Because it's making it seem like these are all just because it says ruthless specific changes. But
yeah, but even when you look at, like, for instance, the thing that doesn't say ruthless specific skill balance, it still has ruthless mentioned in it. So I think they just really bound all of this up into one general, like, all right, this is what we're changing with ascendancies on both. But then they labeled the table of contents slightly weird. Like, so,
and I think
I
that
don't
might be
know.
what's fucking people up as far as the way they're looking at this, because they have another section called ascendancy balances,
Right?
and they
But the
have
thing
guardian
is,
on both of them.
right? But the thing is notice, like, they both mention basically the same fucking information.
So I'm reading Bastion of Hope under Guardian on not ruthless.
So the interesting thing is, if you go up, isn't it all ruthless here? If you look at the way that it's broken up on the thing, like, it's all technically, if you broke it up that way, it's all ruthless. Hold on, let me look. I'm trying to figure it out. So if you look right at the top of the table of contents, it says ruthless specific changes, and then you see how it's indented, ascendancy changes, and then indented again, and then all of that, right? And then you have other ruthless changes at the bottom, and then if you go to the passive tree, you do have, like, you see, this is what I mean. Like, it's all just one chunk.
Skill balances is under ruthless specific changes,
Right?
So it's other Atlas tree changes and other ruthless changes.
Yeah, like,
this
I
is
think
weird.
it's a flaw in how they labeled it. I don't know if it makes sense to other people.
Well, I was trying to use Guardian as an example because Guardian's on the regular and also on the Guardian specific. And, and under one of the things that they mention is Harmony of Purpose and Bastion of Hope, which they mention in Ruthless, which is also mentioned in regular. In regular, there's a lot more information that is listed.
Yes, but I think, like, it's elaborating, and then so it's telling you here the differences between Ruthless and the normal game, and the changes with the normal game. Like, I think it's like, again, it's all like encompassing itself. Like, it's weird. So the thing is they're overhauling the two big ones, right? And then you have a whole bunch of little changes that are happening to the other ones. And then for those, instead of making their own, like, well, this is non-ruthless, this is ruthless, they just put it all under one umbrella.
I guess I could see I could see why people are butthurt though.
I can't.
This is getting
The thing
confusing
is,
though. This is gonna get confusing as we progress forward. This whole ruthless changes shit. It's kind of hard enough to
well,
understand everything that's all of the.
I think the easy solve here is just have a separate patch notes for it.
I heard that argument too. I heard that
Like,
argument is like you need to take out specific passions for ruthless, so we don't have to fucking look at that. Whoever doesn't care about ruthless.
right. I understand that argument because trying to parse out that, I guess, is I don't know. I don't have very much trouble with it, but I do like to read a lot, so maybe I'm an anomaly. But and I'm also used to like how PoE word shit strangely. So I don't know. I feel like it's understandable, but definitely inefficient for people looking for only the changes that affect them, and that just I don't know. That says a lot about society itself.
Something that I found very sneaky that they added, and I didn't hear a lot of people talking about, is the fact that they removed stun immunity from a few bosses.
Good. Wait, where's that at?
It's all the way down to from monster balances.
Fuck yeah. Let's see.
So
Does it say?
Atsiri, Argus, the Veil, Omnitech,
Yo.
Betrayal targets. A lot of these people can be now, but
Yo.
some bosses now have specific skills that cannot be stunned. So some skills like their animations, you cannot stun them or cannot be interrupted. But Kitava is
Right.
still unable to be stunned, for example. So Kitava you
Right.
can't stun them, but some other bosses you'll be able to stun them in between animations and skills.
Yo. Yo. That's sick. Wait, hold up. What is this? Okay, fair enough. Shaper, Elder, Conqueror now drop fewer influence items on death. Yeah, all right, cool. I didn't pick them up anyway. That's probably why. Let's see. Slightly increase the odds for change in currency from beyond bosses and slightly reduce the outcome odds for other beyond monsters. Monsters that are unable to be damaged, targeted, no longer regenerate health. Oh, thank God. Christ, that's annoying. Kitava skeletons in the Belfry arena now spawn as magic instead of rare. Oh wow, that's gonna help a lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Temporal chain skill used by monster also now causes other effects on cursed enemies to expire 25% slower, previously 40%. That's another good thing for people. Fortune favor the oh wow. What? Why? No. Why? Fortune favors the brave is going to be 3 chaos now. I thought it was 2. Essence 2 chaos. Domination is going to be 3 chaos. Breach is 4. Harbinger is going to be 6. Legion is going to be
They
6.
definitely upped it for more end game purposes.
I guess more of a chaos sync. I guess
Yeah.
they.
I
I
wonder
guess
if
they.
chaos is gonna be more droppable.
I wonder if that means that chaos are going to be worth more in comparison to divines and exiles.
Mm.
Because you're going to need them more for if if they're increasing how many that you have to use to farm, then that means that they're needed more than they were before. So
Yeah. I wanted to point out before I forget. The reason the stun immunity popped out to me was because of the PoE True trailer, where they kind of highlighted that whole aspect of like stunning bosses and no one's immune. None of the
Mhm.
bosses are elementally immune to anything specifically. They might be fire resistant, but you can still use cold and do 4 damage cold.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I found that to be interesting. It popped out
I'm
to me.
I'm happy with that because there was a time in which I had to go because I was using a build that was meant to like freeze bosses to death, and it wouldn't work on like the bosses I wanted it to happen to. So if they make everything stunnable, then fuck yeah, dude, I'm down.
I think it just opens up.
Don't threaten me with a good
It
time.
just
No.
opens up build possibilities.
Interesting. The number of monster kills required to gain delirium rewards in the following maps has increased in the order to be more consistent with other maps. Bramble Valley, Cold River, Crimson Township, Dry Sea, Forbidden Woods, Foundry, Frozen Cabbage, or Cabins, not cabbage, Silo, and Stagnate. That is a very interesting thing. That means there's no longer going to be, if they balance it like correctly, obviously, meaning like they don't over nerf it. Um, or that might just be a rebalancing. So that sounds like it's gonna be a lot easier to farm Delirium and maintain relative good economy without having to like specifically get specific types of maps to maximize.
Yeah, I see what you
But
mean.
yeah, sorry, I know that came out strangely. My brain like fuzzled on how to get that out, but we got some Atlas tree changes, Torment. That's like yeah, in-depth shit that I have to read on my own time.
Yeah, the fix bugs.
No, Atlas passive tree
Oh
changes.
yeah, that's a
That's pretty thick. Yeah, that's pretty thick. I did see something else neat that I just wanted to address real quick if I can find it. Oh yeah, the sextant modifiers that cause final map bosses in each map to drop an additional Shaper, Guardian, Elder, or Conqueror map has been changed to drop upon completing your map.
okay.
That hella stood out to me.
Basically, with that they paired that with, that guaranteed map drop that you get by
Hmm.
completing your map,
Yep.
which is a random mob. So it basically encourages more full clears.
Hmm. Yeah,
Which,
that stood out. That definitely stood out. I wonder now, this is the thing. I wouldn't be so upset with it if, only if, these two things drop off the same fucking mob. If they don't,
what are the fucking chances of that?
if they don't, dude, I'm gonna be pissed because that means that you're gonna have to be searching for. You really have to full kill clear more at that point.
Especially if you had the fucking sectant.
Hmm.
If you're using a sectant, you have to full clear, and that means
Wow.
that now people are not gonna run. They're gonna specifically run Strand or one of those linear maps.
Yeah, that's gonna up the cost of them.
Because who the hell wants to do one of those goddamn mazes and you miss out on a big drop?
The Scarred Meadow and Tranquility can now be found on the Orchard map. They added divination card drop. Some divination cards have new homes, and result of these Atlas changes.
There was a few changes to Forbidden Sanctum. I didn't want to go through
Oh,
them.
wait. I'm sorry. There's gonna be a new Atlas change that. So one of them is called the Scarred Meadow. The Scarred Meadow and Tranquility can now be found on the Orchard map. The Whiteout can now be found on the Channel map. Some divination cards have new homes as a result of Atlas changes. I don't wait. Atlas, not Atlas passive tree. I'm an idiot.
Well, I'm confused now.
No. I just got confused over something dumb. I thought they were adding an Atlas passive tree to be able to specifically farm divination cards. What they did is, you know how like every league they remove some maps from the pool and add some maps.
Hmm.
So when they did that, they just moved some divination cards to spawn somewhere else as a result of the rotation. That's all it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got really confused and was just like, wait, now they're adding shit like that? Like that's dumb specific. Like anything else that you found interesting as I peruse this lab one last time?
No, I was gonna actually turn your attention to the Forbidden Sanctum changes.
Oh,
Since you was big on the Sanctum lately,
I
now that it's coming back.
I forgot because I started talking about the other changes. Which one? The other league,
Hmm.
the the Legion. But Forbidden Sanctum has been added to the core game. You'll initially meet Diviana and the Orienthox in Act 10. Provides
So they did make it harder.
Yeah, the Forbidden Sanctum has a maximum area of level 83. Introduce tomes.
So they have rare monsters now in it.
They always had rare monsters, right? No, you're right.
No,
No,
now
no,
they have
no,
rare
you're right.
monsters in it. It says the
No.
difficulty of a Forbidden Sanctus has been increased, especially in the later floors. Monsters generally have more life and deal slightly more resolve damage.
It won't matter anyway to me. Wait, no, it will, because I'm not playing a fucking SRS build.
Monsters in Forbidden Sanctus are immune to damage if there is no player within 100 units of them.
Uh,
What the fuck is a unit?
uh, well, that is interesting as hell because
How
that
are they
killed.
measuring units?
Let me see.
They should just say 2 screens. Then the question was like, well, what
So,
if I have a small screen?
all right. So, I see a thing here.
I feel like you're
Oh,
measuring.
okay. Okay. So, 85 units is from your character to the edge of the screen.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah. So you're right. That is going to be a lot harder.
Whoa,
You know
that's
what? Interesting enough, I know how to fix that. Don't worry about it. Or well, I'm not going to worry
so.
about
Wait. What if you run in, get their attention, and run out? Are they still immune?
it. I'm assuming so.
Because what the fuck? They adding goddamn what are the guys, the immune guys from Expedition? Like they're adding runic fucking shields to these guys. Like if why are they so goddamn? Like I can understand they're
So
not active, right? And you're like trying to snipe
kills a
them.
lot. This kills a lot, actually, because for instance, if you're a poison character, if you're a bleed character,
Yeah, you kind of put your shit down and get out, and then maybe
yeah.
go back in, put it back. You know what I mean? You
And the problem is you can't even use like totems or anything like that to negate the range difference.
Mm.
Hmm. All right. I know how I'm gonna get around this, or well, not necessarily get around this, but play within it. But hmm, that's a very interesting change. That well, I suppose that's a fucking pretty big shakeup. Like the people doing Forbidden Sanctum won't be SRS anymore because the awesome thing about SRS is like your shit would aggro to something at the edge of your screen, making them go like halfway,
Yeah,
like
it
another
starts to search for shit.
yeah, like another 80 units away, like from the edge of your screen if they
Now
saw
you could
something.
still LOS certain things,
Right, but this
which
means that they just don't want this safe. That's all. That's all I'm reading. Is like they want at least from distance. They don't want you like super safe. So that's fine. Well, I'm glad that you brought this up because I would have made a character and been completely fucking blindsided by this. That would have fucked me up hard. Because that would have been my first idea. Would have been, oh yeah, dude, make SRS or carrion golems or you know what I mean, or totems. Like it's a fucking plethora of things that I could have gone for that. But now,
well, there is a big even if you whatever build you go with it because now the primary defenses now affect your resolve. There's a really big motivation to like really focus on one of those heavy, and then think about strategically damage. How are you going to be doing the damage for that specific build for Sanctum?
so I think I know what I'm gonna do for that though. Interesting enough.
And I wonder, like for example, Energy Shield, if it provides you 1-for-1 for like Resolve Aegis, which is the Resolve's version of Energy Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have 10,000 Energy Shield, does that mean you have 10,000 Resolve Aegis? Because there's fucking players that go ham when it comes to like those kind of
It might
builds.
be like it might be done based on like percentages or something.
Ironically, Chaos Inoculation might be a good one for this. Because if you
Hmm.
can get a crazy, 8,000 9,000 ES build that also gives you that much of a chunky amount of resolve ages, that really might it really might fucking help a lot. I mean, I don't know. Is there
This
chaos damage
helps.
in Sanctum?
Yes, but this helps a lot anyway.
Because I'm thinking
Th-
about like, obviously for armor would be you'd be fucking what's that?
yeah, but it
What's
doesn't look like. Well, so I don't like armor because it provides mitigation, right? What
yeah,
I would prefer is
evasion?
I would prefer energy shield
Yeah, I think energy shield is the best one. I'm
because it
just
comes.
curious at the numbers. What is the like? Um,
Well, the thing is it comes back
it's true.
regardless.
It's
Yeah,
true.
regardless of how you look at this.
So now the only
It,
way to build is caster.
yeah, well, not
Not
necessarily.
well. I mean, you know what I mean. Energy shield build. I always think about that as caster build.
Fair, but I don't know. I don't see it that way because so to me, a caster build is a build that casts.
I can see it. I can see that used for both though. At least evasion and energy shield combination of the
Yeah.
two.
I've done evasion ES, I've done armor evasion, I've done you know what I mean? Like there's a good combination that you can have in there that would probably like really help you out. Like for instance, I'm thinking just like I think evasion energy shield, dude. Like I wonder if is there hybrid bases with evasion energy shield?
Yeah, yeah. There is.
Let me see. Because
There's
I'm
dex int bases and an int dex bases. It's both.
okay, cool.
One has more energy shield. The other one has more evasion.
Right. So
So you can go int
Dex
dex
in.
builds.
Right. So Dex in. So I think that really yo, that really just solves my whole problem anyway, man.
Because
I was sitting there
if you
just
can
like,
get like a 20%, 20 30%, you could achieve a 20 30% dodge rate on top of the ages. That's that yeah. You're and get around try to get around $5,000 to $6,000 ES.
yeah, and then so I think I can make this work with what I'm trying to do anyway with cast on crit, frost spears or what's it called, ice nova or something, one of those. I'm not sure what I'm gonna cast on crit, but I'm gonna cast on crit. God damn it! But I think I can do
You
evasion
doing
ES
bow or you doing them like a
melee. I have to do
oh
melee.
melee. Oh, I thought you was gonna make a new. You're gonna make a different build for Sanctum.
No, because of
Oh,
the unit changes. That just puts a fucking sock in my mouth when it comes to wanting to play SRS because I was wanting something that's just like really fucking easy, and that to me now is that's gonna sound like
mines
just
too are out of traps and mines are no longer good either.
yeah. That just tells me that the way that I'm gonna have to beat this is by jumping in and just obliterating everything.
Yeah,
Like
which is literally how you should play Path in any level. Like if you're not jumping in and killing everything, you are not playing Path correctly.
yeah, like you, dude. With most of my builds, the moment it touches you, it's dead. Like unless you're like a really late game boss, in which yeah,
Then
it'll
it might
take
take a
me.
second or two, but
But generally speaking, like
that's
nah,
the
you want to touch
exception,
it,
not the
not the rule.
not the rule.
Like nah, normally you just obliterate shit, and that's how you win. Like, and then what your mitigation's all for is not so that you can fight monsters. No, it's for that one time that the thing that you haven't touched yet hits you.
This game embodies that saying. Offense is the best defense.
Yes. Obliterate it. Obliterate it now. But if you're those types of builds, like until you do have like a really good defensive safety net, like bosses are going to be a problem. And you should honestly just like stick with mapping, gain your experience to get your points so you can get your defenses like really online. And
Yeah.
then once you get there, then you can start going in and like you know, you'll get hit by one shaper ball and be like 50% and be like, oh shit, and be able to move and react. Like, because that's all you're trying to do is get yourself to the point where you can react. Like 90% of the time, if shaper touches you, you're just dead. Especially if you don't have like a decent build, you just, how many builds of mine that walk in there, get touched by one thing, and just evaporate? They're no longer existent because I touched.
I mean, Shaper's the problem with Shaper. Well, his Kamehameha, yeah, it's a problem. But
that is crazy for a different reason.
The number of projectiles sometimes you have to fucking dodge.
Yes. And all of them have the potential to one-shot you unless you have proper normal defenses, in which Shaper Beam and Shaper Slam are your only real worries.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you're trying to get to. And then, even then, like, when your defenses are decent, like, you only get a quarter of a second in the Shaper Beam. Like, you don't want to stay in
you gotta be real on point. Like, you gotta, like, know exactly when he jumps, like, oh, okay, he's gonna do his shit. Boop.
Like, you see him cloaking himself and be like, oh, he's starting to slam. I need to time this and start moving now. And then you have to watch for the puddles, but even the puddles aren't that bad. You see,
the puddles are not that bad. The puddles get bad when you have to dodge shit.
Yeah, and even
like,
then,
oh shit, oh. It's like one big ass game of the floor is lava.
And that's only bad if you're at like 10%. Like, if you're doing good in the fight, like, the puddles aren't gonna like kill you instantly. Like, he's fine. Shaper balls are the worst.
It's when you only have one or two portals left, and you have them at 10%. You start getting real nervous, even though you've done them 100 times already. You're like, okay, this might go bad. This might go bad.
I've had the glitch where you walk into you get killed and you leave, right? And you go into the portal, and he's in a weird state where he's not necessarily doing anything, but the moment you move, it finishes his last animation.
Yeah.
And then
he'll start a new one instantly.
Even then, like, I can be okay with him starting a new one. I can react.
I've had him do the beam instantly.
Yeah, that sucks. The one
like, I went in, he's standing there floating. I move, and he teleports and does the beam.
That, again, I've had that happen. That's not too bad because I've played mostly characters that have like a second to get out of it. But I've had him do Shaper, like, not do any kind of animation for Shaper Slam. The moment I left an invulnerable spot, it just immediately slammed. Like, and he didn't do any animation. He didn't like wind up and hit the ground. He didn't even hit the ground. It was just the actual ground animation where, like, the purple shit, like, it just appeared the moment I moved. And it was just like, fucking good luck tanking Shaper Slam. Like, I hate when they do that. Like, portals are dangerous.
I'm sure Pox can do it. That's probably the only build that can do it.
Oh, yeah. Or Steel Mage. Oh my god, dude.
That's true, yeah. That's true too.
There is nothing.
That's such an appropriate name for him, Steel Mage.
Dude, there's nothing like watching fucking. Or no, oh, Quinn 69 could also do it, because Quinn 69 will like get like a giga tanky build and go and do Shaper with like 400,000 DPS, and it'll take him like 12 minutes. And he'll sit there and like be the only thing that can kill him in those is Shaper Slam. And then all you hear him doing is, like, when he sees it, you hear him, he's like popping Val Molten Shell, and then he tanks it, and then he goes back to just like tickling the boss. Like, it's hilarious. I'm gonna have to send you a video of him doing it.
Anything else that sticks out to you? That's all I had for the general
TLDR.
Yeah, that really stuck out to me. There was nothing really else. Another one thing I guess we should mention is so they did a revision. So I'm not very clear on this. I saw it on the Reddit. So they brought out the first version, and then some there was something wrong that they fucked up or something. So they brought out like a rework of it. But I don't think anything specific. It was more like, I think it was like a few things that was worded weird that they cleared up on.
Okay.
But based on my limited research that I did, it was like nothing important to mention. It was like not like they change a percentage or something or the numbers of something. It was just more like this word shouldn't be here. It's like grammar.
Right. There's just
um. So
some clear ups on the tooltips.
right. Any final thoughts? We have 6 days left until league start.
I only have 6 days to play Baldur's Gate.
Oh, you have Baldur's Gate is not going anywhere, but
I actually finished the story.
you know,
But
as a fan of Path, I have to admit, Baldur's Gate is the game of the year.
it
So
is
far,
100%. Like
it is game of the year. It that is a chef's kiss game. Just mwah, just like wow. It is
it's
rare to see a developer put that much love into a game.
It's yeah, it really is. It's one of those things where everything is so very well populated, and even with like the glitches that you find a little later, because as you play, less people have play tested and things of that nature, so you have like more glitches towards the later half of the game. Even the glitches that I've been having aren't all that bad. Like, and I have like a toaster of a PC,
And
generally
people
speaking.
have abused the shit out the game. Like they've been pushing it to the freaking limit.
Oh yeah,
I've
like
seen
have you
one
seen
video of a guy that stacked like
a
60
thousand
boxes.
boxes?
Oh, some yeah, it was like ridiculous shit. It was just like, what? You could
Yeah,
do that?
he stacked 1,000 boxes and then broke the bottom one, and then yeah, like, yeah, dude, this game is actually like it's legitimately insane because I remember when you guys told me you're like, oh yeah, we got a sword for your guy, and I was like, how the fuck did you kill that?
Yeah.
And it turns out you don't have to. You just make him drop it.
Yeah.
Like
But it was a freak accident. It was like we went in and we had it in mind. We said, oh, maybe we can kill it and get his sword and give it to you. And we were like, we went in, fight started, and instantly he drops it. We was like, wait, what? Go pick it
yeah,
up. And we just ran quickly, and then we picked it up, and that's it. It was just like, wow, okay, we got him a sword.
my first playthrough, the fucking thing that makes me sad is I played a paladin my first playthrough in solo, and I didn't have that sword because I didn't know you could actually get it. My second playthrough, I got the sword and gave it to Lae'zel because it's just like I'm making
It's a
a
really
wizard.
yeah, it's a really powerful like just for the first couple of levels. Yeah,
Oh, dude, not even that. It's basically the best two-handed sword in the first half of the game, like straight up.
yeah.
That it's so fucking good, and even like some of the later swords are like that's barely better. Like,
Yeah.
like it's crazy. It's awesome.
But for those
But
of you who listening, if you haven't got it already, if you haven't checked it out, feel free to check it out. Baldur's
definitely, check.
Gate 3.
Yeah, it's
It's a
super
little
good.
different in Path, but there's plenty of action. It
Plenty
might
of
as well
fun.
be an action RPG. Like the turn base doesn't even feel very turn basey. It just feels like it's a slightly less speed, but it's still just like it feels alive as you're doing it.
Thick,
So
thick ass game.
um,
But as far as path goes, is the next couple days before release, I'm actually really excited. I I've never really done like a full melee build, so I'm really happy to get into that. I'm looking at this and I'm glad that this is the league I'm doing it because it does look like I'm getting some love as far as melee skills go that some people might be discounting. Um I don't know. I'm kind of hopeful. I don't hate the new league mechanic.
I
I
find it
looked at
interesting. I find it
yeah,
interesting.
like you get these coins, they take you to the place when sort of
I
like the
hope.
rogue helper.
I just
You
hope
do
that
pyramids
the rewards
are good.
are so good that even if it sucks to do it, you're like, I still gotta do it though. The rewards is good.
You know what? I don't. I the only time I wish that is if the rewards are or if the mechanic sucks. I just want the mechanic to be fun and to be engaging and to like because again like let's be real, bro. Base mapping and things of that nature and finding your random divine and things of that nature are, they're chase things that you do for like, and you expect a certain outcome as much as you get in, and that's what I'm hoping for this. I'm hoping that
Imagine wagering 5 divines on a championship match.
oh yeah, dude, like I'm so excited for how this is gonna go. And then when you go and you look at it, and like, because they're allowing you to choose which people that you get into the next match with. But now imagine you see the 5 divines, and it's the one fucking team that you really don't want to fight.
You've been losing for that team like the whole
Yeah,
time.
they do something that bricks your build
They
or
got
bricks your
they
game
got
plan.
Messi. They got fucking Pele on the team. You're sitting there like, bro, where do you get these players from? This is the
that's
debit.
what I hope that it's just really fun and engaging and makes you just be like, dude, this is a blast, and then have rewarding enough to make it worth playing.
They got Kobe there and everything.
Like, I don't need this to be like stronger than Expedition.
Sitting there like,
I
yo,
need
I didn't
it,
know Black Mamba was a Maui warrior.
but I do want them to like be equal. I don't want this to make less currency than Expedition, because Expedition is about that's about my limit as far as how much I think my time is worth when I play. Like, Expedition makes me enough to where it's like, oh, this is definitely fun, and I'm definitely having fun
Yeah,
doing
I definitely think it should be equal, like in a sense of like, because if someone you don't want FOMO, you don't
it.
want
Right.
that fear of missing out. Like, damn, but if I play that league content, I'll get more money. But I really like this league
I
content.
also don't really like when they don't balance things around like different characters and being like, oh well, these characters can't do this because of X, Y, and Z reasons. It's
Well,
just like, I
Sanctum.
don't know. Yeah. Like, that was one dude, that was a real polarizing league, because you had a specific group of people that got to like level 50 and realized that their build was just not meant for Sanctum.
Yeah,
And it's like, well,
it
do
it
I
might be turning that way
re-roll?
though,
Like,
but it might be turning into that now with the whole 100 units and all that. So
yeah,
we shall see
but
what people come up with.
yep. But thank you everybody for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time. Like, subscribe, do your things, buttons. This is your second reminder to do all those things.
Buttons.
And and say goodnight, my friend.
Have a good night, guys.
Peace.